Welcome to Gyanmark. Today we are gonna continue the lecture series of CS1 Geography, which we have started. And today's topic is climatology. So let's start first with the PYQs. Which are the PYQs have been asked throughout the year. So the first is the northern hemisphere are located between 20 to 30 degree north and western side of continent. So the question is specifically asked for the deserts in 2013. So first of all, we will see three major questions from this PYQs in this lecture. Still, this lecture gonna little bit longer because of the conceptual clarity. So the first question is about deserts. Why the deserts are specifically present on the western side of continent and the northern hemisphere, uh, 20 to 30 degrees of northern hemisphere. The next question we wanna cover in this video will be 2013, which will be the about temperature inversion. So they asked for what do you understand by temperature inversion and what is the effect of that phenomenon. So these uh, questions also we will cover in detail. And the third important question is about troposphere is a very significant atmospheric layer. We'll cover this first. So let's start with climatology. The first topic of climatology. So what do you understand by climatology? Logy means study and climate. So let's differentiate the climate, environment and weather. So the weather is a, particular environment or the particular situation of environment for the short term duration. शॉर्ट टर्म ड्यूरेशन के लिए जो आसपास का वातावरण होता है दैट इज कॉल्ड वेदर. So the weather is for short duration, but on the long duration, if the average weather we gonna cover, it will be called the season. Season long duration के लिए होता है and weather is for short duration. So what do you mean by atmosphere and how do you differentiate it from environment? So the definition of environment is all the things surrounded by us is called environment. Whether it is a living thing or it is non-living thing. All things are considered as environment. Environment means living or non-living things. All are surrounded by us is environment. So what do you mean by atmosphere? Atmosphere is the consist of the layer around the earth containing solid gas or dust particle is the atmosphere, and there are 6 layers of atmosphere. जैसे बोलते हैं कि if someone is on his or her higher mood, तो हम बोलते हैं कि वो सातवें आसमान पे है. तो ये सातवां आसमान कौन है? बिकॉज देर आर ओनली 6 स्टेप्स और 6 लेयर्स ऑफ एटमोसफियर. उसको मैंने याद करने के लिए देर इज अ न्यूमोनिक टॉस में थर्मोस. दैट इज द न्यूमोनिक मेड बाय मी. टॉस. टॉस मीन्स टॉस. टॉस जो आता है, हम टॉस करते हैं क्रिकेट से पहले, वो टॉस. तो टॉस में से टॉ. टॉ मीन्स ट्रोपोस्फियर, which is the lowermost layer of atmosphere. Then स से होगा स्ट्रेटोस्फियर. टॉस में थर्मोस, में से होगा मीजोस्फियर. थर्मोस से होगा थर्मोस्फियर. एंड आफ्टर द थर्मोस्फियर देयर इज वन लेयर इज कॉल्ड ionosphere, and after ionosphere there is exosphere. So these are six layers: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, then exosphere, ionosphere, sorry, thermosphere, ionosphere, and then exosphere. These are six layers which gonna made the entire atmosphere. And the beyond this six layer उसको बोलते हैं सातवें आसमान के. तो ये basic concept है, not to worry about it. So let's take it one by one. The troposphere. So troposphere is the lowermost layer of atmosphere, and which is surrounded, or which is extend from 0 to 13 kilometer, like by at equator, it is extended up to maybe 8 kilometer. Let me clarify that. It is, yes, there is 18 kilometer at equator and 8 kilometer at poles. This question also has been asked in PYQ UPSC, why the uh, troposphere is has a uh, narrower length at poles, and why it is extended or longer range at equator. So the answer is due to the convection current and high insolation at equator. Uh, there is expansion of that atmospheric troposphere layer, but at the same time the poles has lower insolation, so that's why there is no expansion of that tropospheric atmosphere. So range of that troposphere is lesser at poles as compared to equator. And the question has been asked in PYQ key. Troposphere is very significant atmospheric level that determines the weather process and how. So we will start the introduction with the troposphere is lowermost layer of atmosphere and extending roughly from the 8 kilometer nearly poles and 18 kilometer at equator. So why the troposphere is a significant atmospheric level and how it determines the weather. So we'll start ki troposphere has water vapor. Troposphere has clouds. Troposphere has various gases. Which gases? So the troposphere has gases like nitrogen in descending order of their percentage by volume. So that is mnemonic also. No AC, Ni, helium, krypton, xenon and H2. सबसे कम, that is H2. So the in the descending order, the amount of gases are like no AC, Ni, krypton, xenon, H2. So no से होगा नाइट्रोजन, ऑक्सीजन, A से होगा आर्गन, C से होगा कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, Ne से नियॉन, He से हीलियम, K से krypton, xenon and then hydrogen. So these are the uh, gases which are present at level of troposphere. So these gases are responsible for the existence of life on this earth. Then water vapor. Water vapor is a major greenhouse gas producing element. So it absorbs the heat which reflects from the earth's surface. So because of that water vapor, the heat of sun, which uh, comes from the sun through the sun rays, that sustain in the atmosphere. That's why the earth remains balanced in temperature. So इसकी वजह से वाटर वेपर की वजह से अर्थ का टेम्परेचर मेंटेन रहता है. So that's why the troposphere is significant for weather process. So first is water vapor, then the cloud. Cloud are present at tropospheric level because of evaporation of water. There is a formation of cloud at the tropospheric layer, and this cloud are responsible for raining and hydrological cycle. So another important process is hydrological cycle and raining, which is take place at tropospheric level. So this because of this processing at tropospheric level, troposphere is a significant atmospheric level which determines the weather process. So we have covered this PYQ, which has been asked in 2022. Now let's move to next layer of atmosphere, which is stratosphere. Yeah, we'll cover the variation of temperature. अलग से हम उसको देखेंगे, but let's consider as stratosphere is the next layer. uh, with the increasing of height, there has been presence of ozone at stratospheric level, and due to this ozone layer, it protects us from harmful UV radiation, and also stratosphere is ideal for the traveling of aeroplanes because of their stable condition and less barrier and obstruction in the stratosphere. So that is the stratosphere. Next from the stratosphere is the mesosphere. Mesosphere is known for their resistance to meteors. So the most meteor burns up at mesosphere due to thin air present in mesosphere. Next to mesosphere there is thermosphere. So thermosphere is present at around 100 kilometer. There is present of Karman line here. Karman line is the imaginary line from the Earth's surface to about 100 kilometer, and the line is considered as the last point of atmosphere, and the beyond the Karman line there is starting of space, ऐसा माना जाता है. And the next to thermosphere there is exosphere. Before exosphere there is ionosphere. Why this layer is called ionosphere? Because of a presence of ions, charged particles, and these charged particles reflect the radio waves coming from the earth, like we start our radio or a mobile phone or something else which radiates the radio wave, and these radio waves are reflecting from the ionosphere from the charged particle, and due to this processing we are able to communicate with the other that objects, like mobile to mobile or something radio to radio, which this ionosphere is helping us in communication. After the ionosphere there is exosphere. This is important because the exosphere is the last layer of earth. After the exosphere there is starting of the space, outer space. So the earth atmosphere, uh, if there is a possibility कि ऐसा क्वेश्चन पूछा जाए कि what is the variation of temperature throughout the layer of atmosphere. So here we can see the pattern forming like English alphabet M. Uh, I have remembered this as like English alphabet M. So in the first troposphere there is decrease of temperature with the height. Then in the stratosphere there is increase of temperature with the height because of presence of ozone. Then the mesosphere has declining temperature with height, and then thermosphere has increasing temperature with height because of direct sun insolation and direct interaction of sun rays at thermospheric level. So this is all about the Earth's atmosphere. And the next thing is temperature distribution on the Earth. We cover all of this sort stuff. Now the factor affecting distribution of temperature on Earth. What all things that affect the distribution of temperature on Earth? The first thing is latitude, means at equator or 0 degree latitude there is high level of insolation, and at 90 degree there is low level of insolation there is. So the latitude is the one of the factor which affect the distribution of temperature, because high insolation will uh, results in high temperature and low insolation results in low temperature. The next factor is altitude. As uh, we have saw recently that at tropospheric level with the increasing height there is decline in temperature. Similarly, with the altitude there is decrease of temperature. So the altitude is second factor which affect the distribution of temperature. Third is land and sea differentiation. Means if the ocean or sea surrounded by land, then it will be results in higher temperature because of surrounding of the land, and the land has property कि the land is uh, easily or quicker to warmer or subject to cooler. So if the sea is surrounded by land, then that particular sea has higher temperature as compared to the sea which is not surrounded by land. So this is the third factor. And also the atmospheric transparency means कि if the smoke, dust or the non-transparent layer present in that atmosphere, so it will result in lower or less insolation of sun rays to the earth atmosphere, will result in uh, lower temperature at that stage. So the earth atmospheric transparency is another factor affecting distribution of temperature. And also there is earth and sun distance, means uh, पेरिजी एंड एपोजी. इसको मैंने ऐसे याद किया है कि पेरिजी यानी कि नियरर, पास, पास यानी कि पेरिजी, और एपोजी यानी कि दूर, एट फार डिस्टेंस. सो एट द पेरिजी यानी कि पास, जब सन और अर्थ आर नियरर टू each other, then there is a higher insolation and will result in higher temperature. But if there is apogee position, it will the lower temperature at Earth atmosphere. And also the ocean current is one of the factor distribution of temperature. So the warmer current will result in rise of temperature, and cold current will result in lower the temperature. What is the next thing to learn is the heat budget. So what do you mean by heat budget? The budget means incoming and outgoing. That budget means the balance between the incoming and outgoing. And what do you mean by heat budget? Heat budget means there is a balance of incoming heat means insolation and outgoing heat means terrestrial radiation is known as heat budget. So, distribution of temperature, we can see the factors responsible for distribution of temperature, and also there is a definition of greenhouse gas effect. What do you mean by greenhouse gas effect? So, the greenhouse gas, the greenhouse gas, the example of greenhouse gas are water vapor, CO2, and uh, nitrogen oxide, and ozone, and methane are the example of greenhouse gases. So, these uh, gases have the common property of absorbing the heat and which will be result in the increase of temperature at the atmosphere. So the entire effect is called as greenhouse gas effect. So in the recent time, this effect and the greenhouse gas effect with climate change and global warming is frequently coming in the news because of increasing the level of carbon dioxide, methane, nitrogen oxide, and there is also the increase of ozone in tropospheric level, which is the bad ozone. If the ozone level is increasing at stratospheric level, will be good for us because the stratospheric ozone is considered as good ozone, which protect us from the UV rays of sun. But ozone at tropospheric level will considered as a greenhouse gas and is bad for us. That's why it is called bad ozone. So now we'll discuss the important phenomenon which has been asked in PYQ. Let's see that question and after that we'll see entire answer of that. That is the question which has been asked in 2013. What do you understand about the phenomena of temperature inversion? Yes, temperature inversion and effect of temperature inversion. So let's start with temperature inversion. So what do you mean by inversion? Inversion means the opposite effect and that is temperature. So in normal situation there is decreasing of temperature with increasing the height or increasing the altitude. That is decreasing the temperature at tropospheric level. We have seen that. Okay. So in the temperature inversion, the opposite of this normal phenomena means there is increase of temperature with increasing the height is called temperature inversion phenomena. So the first question arise in our mind is what are the favorable conditions the produce for the production of or the for the produce temperature inversion. The first thing is cloudless sky is the one condition for temperature inversion. Second is long winter night. The third is snow covered ground surface which has high albedo. And fourth is presence of dry air near the ground. So these four conditions: first is cloudless sky, second is long winter, third is high albedo, snow covered ground, and fourth is presence of dry air near the ground. Let's start with the types of temperature inversion. So majorly there are three types of temperature inversion. The first is mountain valley temperature inversion, which we can see here. This is the image of mountain valley temperature inversion. The second type is called frontal inversion, and the third type is winter inversion. So, now what is the process of mountain valley inversion? So, at the daytime, what happens? At the daytime, the insolation, solar insolation, reflects on the mountain. So, this is the mountain, and this is the deep, shallow area is called valley. Okay. So, during the daytime, the top of the mountain gets solar insolation and it uh, becomes warmer and valley becomes cooler. So this phenomena at the daytime and circulation of air is normal. But what happens in night time? At the night time, the air at the top uh, level of mountain becomes cooler and the valley's air becomes warmer because of cooler air at the top of mountain. The air becomes denser because of cooling, and that denser air uh, subject to uh, उसको क्या बोलते हैं कि that हाँ descends through the valley from the mountain to valley, and the warmer air of valley inclined to the top of mountain. That's why that inversion occurs, and from the valley's bottom to the top of mountain, from the uh, increasing altitude, there is decreasing of there is from with the increasing altitude, there is increasing the temperature, which is called temperature inversion. So this is the phenomena which is mountain valley inversion. The next thing is frontal inversion. What happen? What is happening in frontal inversion? So, in frontal inversion, there is two front. So first, there is a question in our mind: what is the front? So the front is the space between two air masses. So there is two type of front. The first is warmer front, and second is cooler front. So the cold front is commonly uh, is denser than warmer front. So what happening? The warmer front and cooler front are opposite to each other, and warmer front is spreading and coming on the way of colder front, and due to the less density, the warmer front inclined on the colder front, and because of this there is increasing temperature with increasing altitude. So this is called frontal inversion. So now what happens in a winter inversion? So due to long winter nights, the surface of earth becomes colder, and due to that colder surface of earth, the air which has contact with that colder earth surface becoming more colder as compared to the air above that air which has contact with earth surface. So due to this, the temperature with increasing the height getting warmer, and which is called the temperature inversion. So these are the three types. And yeah, this is the frontal inversion, the cold air mass and warm air mass. Warm air mass is lighter and warmer and get on the colder air mass. So now we understand the concept of temperature inversion. Now we uh, understand the concept of temperature inversion. Now let's understand the effect of temperature inversion. What are the effects of temperature inversion? The first effect is when the warm air is above the colder air. So this warm air pressurizes the colder air and suppresses and not getting and it restricts the uh, colder air to come up, to ascend. It restricts the colder air and restricts from ascending. So that's why it restricts the cloud formation. This is the first impact कि cloud नहीं बनते. The second impact is reduce the visibility. When the colder air mass uh, trapped near the ground, so it converts into fog, so there is less visibility. Due to this, there is arising a problem of navigation at shipping or at road, and traffic gonna be high. So this is the problem of visibility. The third problem is of air quality because uh, due to temperature inversion, trapping the pollutant from car, factory, and other sources close to ground. And what is the impact on agriculture? So the agriculture, due to the frost formation, it also damages the crops and harmful effect to the agriculture sector and the farmers, and disturb also the radio signals because of that vagueness and frost formation and due to foggy weather, that affecting the radio communication range. So the what are the effects of temperature inversion? First is cloud formation, restrict हो जाता है. Second is the fog formation, and that will arise the problem of navigation. The third is farmer and frost formation से crop को harm होता है वो. And the fourth is radio signaling. So these are the impact. And also there is impact of air quality and the increase in the pollutants at uh, very closer to Earth uh, surface. So now next lecture we'll start with the waves and pressure belts and the types of wind. So up to this, thank you. In next lecture we'll continue the series. Okay, thank you.